Hey everybody, welcome to Cheap Comic Collector. My name's Rob, and this is episode number 232. And it's a what am I reading episode. We're gonna go over a couple things. Um and I was in here packaging up books from the claim sale number 3. Tomorrow is claim sale number 5. When you're watching this, I'm just filming ahead of time, and unfortunately the post office site was down for maintenance, so I couldn't print the labels to ship. But you can see the boxes back here getting ready to go. And I've sold so many books on the first 3 claim sales that we've actually emptied a long box. I was able to put the leftover books from the 3 long boxes that we've gone through into 2 long boxes. So we actually sold that many books. If my math is right, we sold 262 comics. Probably a few more than that because I've sent some out for free and stuff, but around there. So thank you to everybody who's been participating. Even if you just show up and hang out, I appreciate it. Yesterday's claim sale number 3 from when you're watching this, it's a couple of weeks ago, I guess. It had 25 hours of view time from people just watching, because it's a couple hours long. And so if there's 10 people watching, that's actually 20 hours of view time just from doing the one live stream. So even if you don't have any inclination to buy anything, come hang out. We're just looking at comics. It's just the only difference from that and what we do now and any other episode is that we are they happen to be for sale. So, in a commercial, not really a commercial. I'm just thanking everybody. Really, I didn't know what they were going to do, and it's usually it's mostly the same few people that are buying books. I really appreciate it, guys. And I've started buying more books. Excuse me. The last few days, I've been suffering withdrawal symptoms because I didn't have any comic books coming in. I haven't ordered anything. The only thing I've been doing is bidding on Dr. Skull's books because they're auctions, and if I don't grab them, then I'm going to miss out. So I've been bidding on those, but I haven't actually paid for them yet because he has ongoing auctions. He waits a couple of weeks, and then he combines shipping and puts it all together for you. So that should be coming in a couple days, and where that's going to happen. So that'll be shipping pretty soon. But because of the money coming in, I've actually been able to go ahead and order some more books. So we've got I ordered a mystery lot on eBay that was like $16 for 50 comics with free shipping. So who knows what that's going to be. The guy had good reviews and stuff, but that could be anything. So and then what else did I buy? I ordered some books on Hip Comics, and this morning I bid on an auction on Hip Comics that I bought for before and got some cheap stuff on. He didn't have as good as stuff as he usually does, but he had a few good things where I went ahead and bid. And the whole, the last auction, Aaron asked me, how do you like selling? And I'm like, it's fun. I do enjoy this live stream. I enjoy talking to you guys and getting a response instead of just talking to the camera like now. But it changes. Yeah, I've had to change my perspective of buying the comics, and that's been a little bit of a downer because instead of just going, oh, I want that, I have to go, can I sell that? Because it, normally if it was 99 cents or $1 or less, and it was something I thought was cool, I'd just get it. But since I'm now selling anything that's 1990s or later, except for what I'm keeping, then I have to think about it. I have to, am I going to be able to sell it? You know, it doesn't make sense to buy something at an auction for 99 cents and then turn around and sell it for $2 when I have to pay the shipping out of that $2 because I'm basically just exchanging money. I get to see the book and that's all I get out of it. So, so pretty much in order to sell stuff, I have to find stuff like at the Comics Den sales and stuff like that, where I'm only paying, 30, 40 cents an issue. So, um, so so I have to keep that in mind when I'm buying. So that's changed a little bit. So and that affects everything. I mean, you've seen me as I go through the books here on the channel where I um I decide which ones are going to end the sale and which ones I'm keeping, which ones aren't in good enough shape, and so on and so forth. And so it's changed everything a little bit. But it's fun. It's just a different kind of fun. And yeah, no, once I get a whole bunch more comics at Comics Den, I'll be happy again. I'm happy now, but yeah, it's not quite the same. So anyway, today we're doing what am I reading? So let me change over to the other camera here real quick if I can do it without screwing it up. I'm getting used to it. I haven't screwed it up in a while. And there it is. Yeah, turn the light on. Get rid of that glare. Although I'm going to take them out of their bags anyway since we're doing a what am I. So maybe it'd be better if it's off. We'll see. But anyway, you saw me get this. This is actually a trade paperback. This is Silencer Code of Honor. This is volume 1 of the Silencer trade paperback series from DC Comics. I guess it sprang out of Dark Knight's Metal, but there isn't really any reference to that here. They just talk about the spy organization Leviathan. So I guess maybe they were involved in the Dark Knight's Metal thing. I didn't know that they were, but maybe they were. So anyway, I got this for 50 cents. It's just a trade paperback. And I figured, with 50 cents, I'll be able to sell that for $2. But if I did, it would actually, it's a trade paperback, so it's kind of heavy. It's going to cost. I should probably charge more for a trade paperback if I sell it, but it doesn't matter because I like this one so much. I'm not going to sell it. I'm not normally a trade paperback guy, but I did start considering when I picked these up for 50 cents. This and some Grayson paperbacks. I was thinking about, maybe that would be the way to go for modern comics, and this trade paperback I enjoyed. I enjoyed the story, and if I was reading this one comic at a time over the course of months, I wouldn't have liked it. It's not something I would have enjoyed enough for me to keep buying it. So anyway, it's by John Romita Jr., Victor Bogdanovic, and Dan Abnett. And it's pretty darn good. The writer is Dan Abnett, pencilers John Romita Jr., Victor Bogdanovic, and inkers are Sandra Hope and Victor Bogdanovic. And normally not that big of a fan of John Romita's art, but it does work well for this. And it's an interesting. It's an interesting character. The character is basically a housewife. She has a husband. She has a son, but she's ex-assassin. Hey guys, sorry, lost the connection to the camera there for a minute for some reason. seems like the more I use this system with StreamYard and the camera software, the worse it gets. It keeps giving me issues. So anyway, yeah, this is. She's an ex-assassin. Her husband and kid have no idea what she used to do. She used to work for Talia al Ghul as the Silencer, which is this is a new character. I looked into it to see if this was her first appearance or not, and it was. The Silencer series is her first appearance, and because I thought it would have been cool if they had used an existing character for this, but they didn't. So anyway, it starts out basically with a panel from the last issue that's printed in here, and I think it prints 6 issues in here. Yeah, Silencer 1 through 6. So and one of my mom's favorite shows is Scarecrow and Mrs. King. I don't know if you remember that show or not, but it's about Kate Jackson plays a housewife that gets involved in a life as a spy, and of course her mother who lives with her and her 2 little boys have no idea that she's actually a spy. So there's a little bit of similarity between that and this, and I'm just happen to be watching that right now with my mom because it's one of her favorite shows, and I found it again on Roku, so we're watching through that together, and so there's actually a little bit of parallel between that and this because of her life as a housewife, but instead of a housewife becoming a spy, she was basically a terrorist assassin who gave it up and became a housewife. So anyway, this guy attacks her and in the parking lot of the grocery store when her kid's there. And she has to defend herself, and the kid's busy playing in the car. He has no idea what's going on. And like I said, I don't normally like the Romita artwork too much, but it fit this pretty well. So this is Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. We all know that, and she shows up and meets the husband, the little boy, and is basically there to warn the Silencer, that the organization is coming after her. The organization is at war within itself. There's players, trying to take over. Talia is on the outs with the organization, so she's, trying to get control back. And meanwhile, these assassins are trying to eliminate her, and because the Silencer used to work for her, eliminate her as well. So it was good. It was good. It goes on, and of course, it turns out that I don't want to spoil any plot twists for you in case you're reading it. But people aren't necessarily the friends and allies they appear to be. Deathstroke shows up, so there's a battle between her and Deathstroke, and meanwhile she's getting back in the game reluctantly but only to try to save her personal life, to let everybody know that she's out of it. They don't need to kill her. They don't need to go after her family. And of course that, they keep coming. So it was a good story. And this is a pretty much a complete story arc. There's a little bit of a lead into the next issues. I forget how many issues this went for. I looked it up, and it was quite a few. There's enough for maybe 3 trade paperbacks, I think. So it wasn't ongoing, and I enjoyed it. I would recommend it, actually. It's cover price on the trade paperback was $17. I got it for 50 cents. So I would definitely recommend it for 50 cents. But anyway, this also, is pushing me towards doing keeping trade paperbacks, um, uh, instead of keeping modern comics, going after the trades and keeping the trades rather than trying to keep all the modern comics. So we'll see how that works out. I'm not sure. I know I bought, I have this. I have like 3 trades of Grayson now, and then I have those 2 Spider-Man ones that that I showed a little bit ago in an episode that the company had sent me for free. So yeah, I'm trying. I'm kind of definitely considering going the trade paperback route for modern stuff, and then still, collecting the older issues because I love the actual comics. But the main thing is to read them and enjoy them. So and since I have to sell stuff in order to fund the hobby, that actually lets me still, kind of do modern stuff. I don't know. We'll see how it all works out. But uh, and then one of the viewers kept asking me to review My Greatest Adventure, and since it didn't sell, I figured, well, why not? Might as well pull it out and do a review on it. So I read these, and it's all 6 issues that are here. It was a 6-issue miniseries, and it's even though they appear together on the covers, it's 3 different stories. You got Tonga, Robot Man, and Garbage Man, and so the first series in the Robot Man, and he looks a little bit different than I remember. He's got some kind of new armor. It's by Matt Kennott is the writer. Scott Collins is the artist. And it was a little interesting. That it kind of delves into the technology a little bit more of what they're doing. Let me play with this light a little bit. Let me turn the light off and see if that actually works better. Since we don't have the glare off the bags to worry about. I think that it might work better this way for you. So, but the art is good. The storyline was a little interesting at first, but that honestly the stories aren't long enough to in each issue to grab my interest. And they're also like, especially in this first one, like you look at this panel and then you look at this panel and you don't really notice at first that you're going into a new story, right? Because they're all serials. They all, continue into each issue. So this is Garbage Man. Garbage Man Returns. No logo or anything. Just like on the first one, there was nothing either to really tell you until the second page that you're looking at a new story. So this one was written by Aaron Lopresti, inks by Matt Ryan. So story and pencils done by Aaron. And I want to know who Garbage Man was. This story doesn't really tell me. All these characters first appeared somewhere else. So this isn't an origin story, although it kind of tells you, that he's a pile of garbage with the consciousness of a man. So he's not a man anymore. But he's sentient garbage. And he's in Gotham City, and that was it. That was the whole storyline right there. Was he's in the sewers, basically hanging out in the sewers of Gotham City. There's a priest that he's friends with. Apparently, this was his old girlfriend, who he's trying to get back in contact with. She thinks he's dead, and again, the art was okay. The Tonga story. Story and art by Kevin McGuire. It should have been a lot more interesting. The art is okay. Not real big on the backgrounds, so not a lot of detail. but the storyline picks up in the middle of wherever these characters appeared previously, and so she's on some planet, and you get absolutely no backstory on her at all. She's on some planet. She's super powered. Um, she's trying to defend the planet. The planet hates her because they think she's actually the cause of the destruction because the ruler of the planet is basically blaming everything on her. And so they're basically using her, that these giant monsters appear. She fights them. They're blaming the whole thing on her, and and basically getting the people of the planet to worship their leader for the most part. And it's all a plot for them to control the planet. The leaders are actually the ones calling the monsters there, and that's pretty much the basis of the whole entire. I just told you the entire storyline, and it goes throughout 6 issues of just a few pages in each issue. And there's a Batman Noel preview in the back of this first one, so that looks really cool. Really great art on that, but that's just a preview pages. So that's number 1. Number 2, more of the same. The stories are just too short for you to care. They're basically just big fight scenes for the most part. Batman does show up in Garbage Man a little bit. Here he is, and fights him, and then realizes he's not an enemy and works with him a little bit. And it's just not a whole lot to it. But it is a 6 issues. It's a complete series. So if nobody wants to buy it, I don't mind hanging on to it. And then, like I said, the Robot Man art, it looks cool. Very, very well done. Nice, some nice poses and stuff in there. And this thing is cool too. This robot bug thing that shows up, that's pretty neat. And I liked this page here where you kind of got the Neil Adams. I want to say Neil Adams. I'm not sure if I'm right on that. Influence of the bat's cape, turning into the shadow, and it just looks neat. I wish they had done the entire storyline in that kind of stylish art. That would have been fun. And there's monsters that show up, kind of demonic monsters or something that show up in the sewer. A lot of it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Tonga, was that the name? Yeah, I don't even remember their names. Yeah, Tonga finds out at some point that all these monsters that she's fighting are actually babies. They look like they're these giant, terrible monsters. So she just starts fighting them, but they're actually children that the ruler of the planet has been transporting to fight her, to keep up his narrative that he's good, she's bad. You got some flashbacks to Robot Man's origin when he was a race car driver. And the artwork is decent in the Garbage Man as well. Tonga was actually the biggest disappointment of the 3, just because there just wasn't a whole lot of story there. And number 5. And these stories, the covers are kind of the coolest thing, actually, because it shows the characters together, and even though they don't appear together, it's just, this should have been, when it came out, this should have been like a weekly series, not a monthly series, because there's just not enough there to keep you interested for an entire month. where you'd want to pick up the next issue. There's that bug monster again. He looks pretty cool. And this guy, Aaron Lepresti, he really shines on the splash panels, the beginning panel. And the other art is good too, but he doesn't have the inventive layouts that that I would like to see with his art. And then, well, we'll talk about that in the next issue. Tanya basically resolves stuff. She saves the day, but the planet still hates her because they've been brainwashed that she's the bad person. And at one point during the story, they do mention the planet Oa. That's the only reference to the DC universe in that entire storyline. But that's all they do is she thinks about going to Oa, or where are the monsters coming from, or something like that. One of those two things. She wonders about where she should go next. And so she's lost in space. She doesn't know where she's going. So that's the end of the series. Basically, is she doesn't know where she's going to turn up next. So, kind of reminds you of like the Green Lantern Corps. She could be, a Green Lantern Corps member. She's not, but that's the feel you get from the story. Or a Legion member, because it's in the future, they're out in space, whatever. I don't know if it's supposed to be the future or if they're just out in space. But and then of course Batman showed up at the, in the Garbage Men story. So if you're a Batman completist, you may not know that he's in here. So it is what it is. The artwork was okay. Some good panels in there, but the storylines just, I don't know, they were just phoning it in. There wasn't anything to really grab you with the storylines. They weren't. Just wasn't particularly interesting. So, that's basically what it was. So I'm going to keep the trade paperback, and My Greatest Adventure will go back into the sale piles. If anybody wants to grab it, let me know. And that will pretty much do it for today. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Thanks for checking out yesterday's tomorrow's claim sale. Yes, tomorrow is claim sale number 5 when you're watching this. So tune in for that if you can. We'll be going through another long box and seeing what's in it, what I've got for sale. I don't really, as I go through books, I just keep putting them in the sale pile, so I never know for sure what's in the long box. I try to go through a little bit so I'll know what I'm talking about, but I just thumb through them. And anyway, thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it. We will see you next time.